Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Bit of a different video today. I've been shopping. Can you tell? There's something wrong with my darts. That is, I've removed these K-Flex. Now, what have I been buying? Well, lots of people I know have been trying Condor. So I thought, okay, I'll get some Condor dart, get some Condor integrated systems and see how they go. So I've got the first one here, which is the 120. Now, you may have seen these, you may not have. They're not widely used by any of the pros. I know Connor Scutt uses them, but other than him, I don't know anybody else who uses them. And that is why they're called the 120. So they actually do look, well, their flight is actually a tiny bit bigger, but it's only got 3 fins. And I'm a bit worried by this, in all honesty, because my darts are very front heavy. I'm removing weight. I don't know the weight difference. I guess it's going to be a fraction of a gram, but it's a tiny bit longer, maybe 2 millimeters longer. It's going to be a bit lighter. So the center of gravity will be a bit different. So I'll put them on shortly and I'll have a throw with them. The second one I've bought is another Condor, and the name has made me laugh when I checked on the order list, which I'll pop up on screen now so you can see. It's called Condor Lame Glitter Silver Smoke. And it looks like that. It looks very similar to a standard short K-Flex. It's maybe 1 millimeter longer. It's very small difference. You can almost see through them as well. It's very weird, but I didn't realize it was glitter like this. I really don't like glitter, but it'll come off eventually. The difference with this is, here's your K-Flex. It doesn't move much. There's more move in my fingers. It's deceiving. This, quite a lot of movement there. That worries me because is it going to go out of shape? You can't really do that on the K-Flex as much. It's a lot more in my finger. These remind me of, I don't know, it might be a very British thing. There was a phase where lots of people would wear what they call jelly shoes, and it reminds me a lot of that. So with that being said, I'm going to put these in first because I think these will be very similar. Their flight's the same size. It's only 1 mil longer, maybe 2 mil longer. So I don't think there'll be much difference between that and the normal K-Flex. The 120s, however, that'll be different. So I'll be back shortly. Right, everybody, we are back. And straight away, these feel very weird. So these are the smirky, glitter, lame things. The actual do look very, very similar to, the shafts look very similar to the K-Flex. There's maybe a bit more of a barrel before it goes into a groove, but let's give them a go. Let's see how they go. They do feel light though. And I can tell it is such a small difference, but I can tell they are a tiny bit longer. And I think that length, it comes here in that part, because on the K-Flex, this groove comes down much more. But they actually do appear to be hitting the board a bit lighter. That could just be me. But these, that's a nice ton. They just feel like soft K-Flex. They really do. I'm not sure. It would be interesting using them for the month to see if they pick up the amount of damage a set of K-Flex gets. Like, I had Windmouth Fusion before. You might be able to see them on the table behind me sometimes. I think in about 3 weeks, one set of them had gone. You used to get, like, it looked like teeth marks, but the recent, I think it's because my throw's changed a little bit. The angle of entry with a normal K-Flex, they're not bashing each other as much. They're not getting as much of a hammer in. So I'm probably getting 3 months out of a set. Definitely 2. But even so, they are taking a hammer in. and they're holding up. It'd be interesting to see. I suspect these might have a lifespan, but after so long, they'll eventually just get too soft. And then something else which might be relevant to my situation is, does the heat affect them? Because after all, they are plastic. Will the heat just make them that bit more like loose and just relevant to bending? The other thing is, does that flexibility reduce bounce outs? Because you'll have seen it, when I get a bounce out from hitting another K-Flex, it'll be big sometimes, it'll be really big. And could these just be so flexible, they just move out of the way? I do wish I'd picked up a different colour. I actually thought it was like a paint and then it was varnished over, but it's not. But these, there's not much difference between the standard K-Flex, there really isn't. If you give me these and told me they were K-Flex, I wouldn't be able to tell you any difference. They're flying the same. After all, a tiny bit longer, but I actually do like how, hopefully you can see that on the camera, I do like how they go into the barrel. It's more, because of the profile of my barrel, they actually do fit it quite nice. The K-Flex have a bit of like a ridge, and sometimes that ridge is good because you can use it as like a push-off point or a location finder, so you know where to put your fingers. But these, I don't have that, because also they're so soft. I can't feel it. Right, let's just do 3 at the bull with these, and then I'll put the 120s on. The closer I get to using them 120s, the more worried I'm getting. Right, let's just do 3 at the bull. Yeah, these are just K-Flex, but different brand. Quite like them. I do quite like them actually, but they're too flexible, I think. I think that's going to be an issue for a lot of people. The good thing about these is they cost me, I think, 42 RMB, which is about £4.50 at the minute. I think K-Flex, if you're lucky, you might get them for about £6 in the UK. So if you can get them in the UK at the price I've paid, it might be worth trying them. These, however, these are a bit more expensive. You're getting less and you're paying more. It's like the Christmas tin chocolate debate, isn't it? Why do you pay more and get less? I can remember Christmas tins used to be like that big, like that deep, big one, that deep. Now they're about that deep. Right, anyway. These are on. These do have a bit more of a lip here, a bit more of a lip, so a bit more of like a fine, like I can find my finger grip if I need it there, if I move it. The balance on them there, it is much more forward. This is why I'm worried, because these darts kick because the weight is in the bottom of the barrel, it's not in the top of the barrel. I'm putting more weight on the front, and this is gonna kick. Okay, that was probably the best dart I've thrown. Hopefully you saw it in that second one. That third one, okay, these are flying better than I expected. So these are quite stiff, they're quite firm, maybe even more firm than a K-Flex. So that might create bounce outs. That was a bad throw. These are actually flying better than I thought, but they do look, some of them do look more unstable in the air. That one looked like it was spiraling. That was nice. I'm trying to follow the dart through the air, so I'm not really worried what I'm hitting. I am worried there's too much weight though on that front of that dart now. I really am. That flew nice. Oh, I'm gonna have to have conversations with myself, aren't I? Because you know when you don't want to like something I've gone past that now. I'm in the middle. Gonna be different. I guess I'm just gonna have to play with them a bit more, see how it goes, and see if I can get used to them. The angle of entry, it is a tiny bit steeper, so the more like that, well, that's like going over the top. Like a normal dart for me is like that. They're a tiny bit more angled, which, I mean, as you know, Littler uses long points. Why does he use long points? When the dart hits the board, it'll stand up and it leaves the treble 20 open for him. That last dart, that has a bigger angle on it than my normal dart. So either I'm going to have to get used to them or just not use them. But I just thought I'd give it a try. I think these cost me about 85 RMB, so that's it's going to be getting close to 10 quid, maybe 9.50. But you'll see the picture on the screen and I'll try and put a rough conversion price over for you. So this is 2 different sets of Condors. Ooh. 2 different sets of Condors. The smirky silver ones, I think they're just going to get put in a box until I run out of K-Flex. And then I'll try them because they're just the same thing. These ones, I have a feeling I might persevere with them a little bit more because it is going better than I expected, but they're flying faster. The angle of entry is steeper. I need to work out what to do. I think for now, it's probably a bad thing using these. But I'll bring them home with me and see how they go. Right, see if I move my grip back a tiny bit more, if that really does affect the angle of entry. Okay, so I'm actually gripping half barrel, half shaft. Okay, now if I go really far forward, this should go flat in theory. Yeah, there you go, that went really flat. Oof. Hopefully you can see them moving in the air. They do seem less stable. Right, let's do 3 at the bull with these and conclude this Condor video. So I would say, if you want to try something different, try them, but they do fly a bit faster. The angle of entry is different. So if you actually want your dart to be going on a steeper angle, these could be for you. I don't think they're for me because I already have that angle. So that's what I can say really. These ones, they do feel a little bit gimmicky just because of how soft. They're so soft. Like, I'm barely squeezing that. Is it in the camera? There you go. I'm barely squeezing. Like, my fingers are just resting on it. Whereas these, you've really got to pinch them. So, yeah. Anyway, that's been me looking at 2 sets of different Condors. Any questions about them? Hopefully by the time you've seen this, I've played with them a little bit more. So let's end there like we always do. And remember, to throw first.